Bienvenidos y welcome to the Biz Bruja podcast, where we're claiming our powerful intuition, our sacred medicina, embracing our magic and healing ancestral patterns, invoke powerful creations in our own well-being, our lives, familias, community, and our businesses. Remembering that our businesses are so important at this time. I'm the creatrix of this blogcast, the Biz Bruja herself, Vanessa Codorniu, a modern-day bruja, fourth-generation psychic medium, clinical hypnotist, energy healer, and soul biz mentor and coach. An Argentine-American who started reading adults at 16, became a professional intuitive at 22, and now guides creatives, intuitives, healers, and entrepreneurs to break through fears, connect to the practical power of their intuition so they can serve the world powerfully. Hello, beautiful people. I'm so excited to be here. Vanessa Codorniu, your bilingual bruja, the OG biz bruja in the house. So I'm excited to be here because I've stepped away a little bit to focus in on my Perra Puta Loca Bruja, a Latina's Reclamation Journey show that has been touring nationally. And it's been an incredible thing. I'm going to do a whole podcast based on the lessons that I learned while touring, because you really do learn a lot about yourself, and a lot about yourself as a spiritualist, a lot about yourself as a woman, as a human. And I think that it applies to all of us when we're taking risks, when we're doing something that isn't maybe expected of us, or maybe that we didn't expect. But I want to dedicate a whole podcast to that. I wanted to come on, even if it's briefly, because we just had this blue moon, May 31st, right? We had this full moon, the second full moon in May in Sagittarius. And so the full moon, we know, is something que trae la luz, right? It brings the full light, the full focus on something in our lives. Usually we would go into the exact degrees of Sagittarius and go exactly into your natal chart. And I like Placidus most, although, I do listen to Chani's whole house, and I've looked at other systems of astrology because I think it's really cool to get a different perspective. At the same time, Placidus is really my wheelhouse right now. And so you can look at your chart. You could go to alabe.com, or I think free cafe astrology, free natal chart, come up with a chart, and you could see where the lunation happened in what area of your chart. Now, for me, it was in the 7th house. So interesting because I'm Gemini rising. So I'll give you an example. So if the full moon brings light, sheds light, or brings to culmination certain things in a particular house, that means you're going to be understanding, get validation, see the big picture. Sometimes you get a big old shock, right? Sometimes it's not a big old shock. It's something that you were always aware of, but that you really weren't ready to face head on. And so the full moon gives us these opportunities to really step into awareness, to accept what we've always known. And one of the things, especially with women, but also men, anybody who's really empathic, big-hearted, open-hearted, and anybody who's even been raised parentified or taking care of siblings, is that we see the light in people and we don't want to be judged harshly. And so we tend to give people opportunities. When a full moon comes around, and all full moons are not created equal, they're not a monolith, it is usually that moment where you're like, damn, I have been overlooking this shiz, and now it's hitting me in the face, and damn, it stinks, right? And damn, I don't like it. And so for me, because the full moon went into my 7th house of relationship, business partnerships, and even really, really close friendships, right? Anything that's like a deep soul relationship, business relationship, marriage relationship. What's been coming up a lot for me is, especially because it was already Gemini season. So we're dealing with Gemini season, talkative, information, curiosity, perspective on life, to the full moon, May 31st in Sagittarius. Bigger perspective, higher purpose, foreign travel. All Geminis like local travel. And these two energies pulling, similar but pulling, both mutable, one air, one fire. So when May 31st came in, for example, one of the things is that a lot of friends were going through really difficult times. They're kind of lashing out or kind of vomiting what's going on with them, and holding space for them and listening, because again, they're by the grace of the universe go I, and next time it could be me vomiting up some stuff, right? The thing is, what I've noticed this year, and it's been going on really since time immemorial, And even in the pandemic, where a lot of people were stuck at home and had to really focus, or chose to really focus on their healing, they were getting much more impatient. And that is not surprising. We've been waiting for things to change politically, economically, financially, for the world over. And people are losing their shiz. A lot of businesses are not sustainable. A lot of our jobs are non-sustainable. A lot of our relationships are non-sustainable. And here comes the full moon in Sag, like, hey, la libertad, freedom rings, expansion. Let's expand. And so what's interesting for me is that for me, it wasn't a big shock of anything. What I did get to see is a validation of the things that I already saw coming. That I knew that there were a lot of people who were struggling with their particular challenges, and I struggle as well, trust me. And how they're handling it, different to the way that I handle things. I handle things differently. And then making decisions instead of cutting people off as people have done in the past. What I really recommend for this time is like placing people where they belong, right? Placing people where they belong. You love them, they love you, but they're going through something that is not like what you're going through. You're going through your own thing. You can still call, support each other, be there for each other, but at the same time, have some space, return to ourselves. And more importantly, on the May 31st tip, returning to the highest vision of our own existence. I asked some people that, I was guiding a circle, and not everybody knew that immediately, but that's understandable. Because how could we be focusing on the highest vision of our life when we got issues with our parents, our grandparents, finances, a job, no job, a business, our children, our health? We are human beings. Things are not simple. They're complex. There's different levels. And then there's also our boundaries. So we can be understanding and loving to ourselves and others, at the same time draw boundaries because it's needed. And then I would say, don't cut off people that you love and you adore just because they're having a rough time. Give yourself the space that you need to tend to yourself, and try not to vomit your crap on other people. Because I think with Sagittarius, it's mutable. It's like the truth speaker. I have to say what I have to say. But meanwhile, the people you might be throwing up on may not be actually the culprits of your situation. So share appropriately. We are in Gemini season. Even though Gemini gets a bad rap as being shallow and this and that, etc., at the heart, Gemini is super curious. Be curious about why you're acting this way. Dare to be brave. What I've noticed recently too, with Neptune and Aries and Saturn and Aries shifting out of Pisces, and we've got Pluto shifting into Aquarius, there's been the most shifts, in a long damn time in astrological history, as we know. And what I've seen is people just, again, more hot-headedness. And it reflects the outer world of war, the outer world of attacks and economic and political instability. So this is the time with that full moon in Pisces, the blue moon on the 31st. It's still in action. It's still flowing. It's only June 6th. We are still flowing into the deep invitation of how do I connect to the highest purpose, to the highest vision of my life, even though I'm struggling right now? And if you can't, that's okay. Be super kind with yourself. But the truth is that you really do need to do that. We all need our North Star. When we start to lose touch of where we're headed or where we want to go, or not even where we want, because sometimes purpose is not what you want. I'll be honest with you, as a Sun Taurus, and I've said this before, I want a career, a job that was stable, because I was alone in New York City since I'm 21. That's a big deal, people. Supporting myself since 21, no matter what illnesses hit me, no matter what traumas or dramas, I had to handle my own shiz. And you know that there's even 40-year-olds right now that parents are bailing them out. No shame, right? But this is what I'm saying, to look at the reality of how hard it really was. And so the situation is that when you're that young, you're that overwhelmed. And any age, when you're that overwhelmed and the realities hit you, because we're all unique, we need to take a moment. And even with that stress that I had at 21, all I wanted was like a steady paycheck, a steady job, a steady career that I liked. Spirit had something else in mind. I'd already started reading people at 16. It was like, nah, you girl have the midheaven in Pisces. You've got to keep letting go. You've got to keep releasing. So what I also recommend for anybody who's like going through a time of change, which is all of us, anybody who's questioning, Where am I headed next? What am I doing? Look at the top of your chart. Look at the midheaven. What sign is on your midheaven? And really start to deepen into what that means, because it's not a monolith either. Just because, let's say, Pisces is on my midheaven, it doesn't mean that I'm just going to work in secluded spaces. Though, hello, I worked from home since the late 2012. I've been doing sessions from home and online. So yeah, a little isolation, right? Just a little bit. But it didn't mean that it was prisons or hospitals, etc. So we have to expand our mind. And Pisces is also the ruler. It guides intuition, spirituality, improv, art, film, theater, all the things that I'm involved with now and have been for almost a decade. So allow yourself to still, within this week of this blue moon, to take a moment and be like, even though I'm dealing with all this crap, even though I had to move back in with my parents, or even though I had to let my parents move in with me, right? Because it happens. Where am I headed? Where is my whole soul? Where's my soul? Not whole. Where's the hole in my life? Where's the hole in my soul taking me? And allowing yourself to really receive the answer. Because a lot of times we are not prepared. And I talk a lot about capacity, right? I talk a lot about capacity because sometimes we are not in a space to hold our dreams. And today I'm recording this right now. I'm going to upload it on Saturday. I'm shooting it. It is the disseminating moon, right? It's about circulating our wisdom, distributing our findings. It's about sharing what we've got. And so here I am. But the moon sign is in Aquarius, right? Which is my 9th house of higher purpose. And so it's time to share what's been on my heart, and here I am. So for all of you, if you're in a time of change, and who isn't, just to reiterate, 1, take a moment, really connect to your breath, allow yourself to be where you're at without judgment, without, I should be here, I'm this age, I should have this, I should do that. The world isn't working that way. Breathe deeply and ask yourself, without economic or health or love pressures or relationship or work, what is the highest expression of this life for me? And I'm closing my eyes as I do it right now. And allow yourself to receive, whether it's a feeling, a knowing, a song, lyrics, an image. What are you being guided towards? Because all of us receive intuition in different ways, right? Some of us are more auditory, more sensory, more cognizant, like claircognizant. So taking another deep breath in and asking yourself, where is my higher self guiding me towards? And where and how do I get there? And sometimes we got to let go of the how, right? You've been hearing this a lot. Sometimes we just have to keep going. And I share this with people, and also Pisces in the midheaven, so it's going to be different than a Virgo midheaven, right? Is that a lot of the things I've done in my life, I just love them. I just love them. It was never like, I'm going to do circles, so I'm going to make money and take photos and everybody's going to love it. Or I'm going to learn these techniques and then I'm going to make money and this is what's going to happen. It was just like, oh, we already do energy healing in my home. Tell me about Reiki so I can protect my energy at 21. I already do this. I already do that. To me, my gifts were just a lifestyle. It's just a way of life. I was like that since I was young. And then it grew into something else. And so we're not all like that. Sometimes it's something that comes in later in life. Like you're like, oh my God, I'm a scientist. I didn't know it. Don't judge yourself by other people's standards, because everybody's living their own path and their own story and their own purpose. But do ask yourself, what is the highest vision? And I would say between now, which is June 6th, which is, 6 days after we had the blue moon, midway to the supermoon that's coming, the new moon in Gemini. That's going to be an amazing time to really set the seeds, to set a whole other 6-month manifestation, calling in, intention setting. But as we all know, before we start to call in and bring in and seed, we have to also dig deep to understand what needs to be shifted, what needs to be released. A lot of people want to cut off, as I said, friends very quickly, very easily. But the thing is, well, you're going to have a hard day. You're going to have challenges as well. Well, don't you want compassion? And then also paying attention to the patterns, but is this the way it always is? And if one is always the one who's giving and the other one isn't, then there needs to be a conversation. So don't cut people off right off the bat just because they're struggling. Assess whether or not they're just a friend that needs to be a certain type of friend. And don't be afraid to be alone. My mom always told me better to be alone than in bad company. And bad company is sometimes people who have hidden agendas, right? Or people who want something from you, not just your friendship. These things take time to understand. And I'm focusing on friendship a lot, I think, because it's come up for me and others. But really, when we envision the highest purpose and the highest flow, include friendships and community in there. Because a lot of people have gone into their bubble, have kind of cut off other people to survive, to feel better about themselves, to not have to receive criticism or attacks or narcissistic bullshit, which I get it. And there's also space to attract aligned individuals. I do forever believe in that. I'm forever freaking hopeful. And I've been betrayed a lot by women, by the way, a lot over the years. Thankfully, nothing recent. Well, somewhat, but it's okay because it's been handled. And so tapping into friendships and what you want to envision, creating boundaries, taking time to dive deep to see your greatest vision, to be open to receive, right? What is the next step? Now, a lot of people are telling me, well, my astrology is telling me that I'm supposed to be doing this and I'm moving and I'm grooving and ¿qué pasó, qué pasó, qué pasó? Well, girl, if your hands is full with what you got, you're not getting something new. And that's like basic. And like once in a blue moon, yes, there's somebody cheating on their partner and then they find the love of their life, right? So they got two in the hole, like literally. But what I mean is it's not that often. Usually the universe is like, well, let go of what you have and then let something new flow in, because you're not even clear enough to see the new when you're still holding on to the old. So there's a lot of people right now that I know that I've been talking to who are in that crossroads with their career, with their business, maybe with their marriage. It doesn't mean you have to let it go immediately. Book a session with me. Let's do a reading or do an astrology sesh. And most importantly, spend time with yourself. Sometimes we know a truth before we can act on it. And sometimes we have to set up a plan of action, right? Like if you want to leave a job, but you know that you need the finance of it, the financing of it, well, you've got to set up a plan like by 6 months I'm out and I'm going to start looking for work. And so these are these times where we're looking at this higher purpose, managing our boundaries, taking care of ourselves, and also looking towards the future. On the 15th, we've got that supermoon in Gemini, which we'll talk more about, before the date. But just know that right now you're doing the work to clear the way for that newness, for the next 6 months of new beliefs, new ways of expressing, new ideas, and it works. My life has changed so much. Last year, I had 2 businesses going while I was coaching 4 teams, while I was performing with 6 teams. And this year, I'm not really coaching any team. I'm not teaching an improv class because I'm on tour. And that's a radical change. And then the year before, I wasn't even coaching all those people or teaching all the classes. There was a radical change. And so what will the future hold? Don't really know, but I'm also okay. I think that when we're too used to staring outside, and we're taught that because that's how we find safety, right? Looking at our exterior environment and trying to assess our safety, we lose the fact that the safety, the nervous system balance, the deep connection to our truth and to our intuition and to our knowing comes from within. And I'm not saying, look, if your environment is more peaceful, it's going to be easier to access that. And we know that life is not lived in a bubble. And so connect to that higher purpose, connect to the boundaries that need to come up, connect to what is needed to be released, because something does. And it could be as simple as beliefs. I've had different times in my life where I ran with a crowd. I ran with a pack, of women. And now I live in PA. And while I may run around and perform with different groups of people, it doesn't mean that we run around socially all the time, usually when we perform. My group of women are in New York and also online in other states. and other places. Adapting to that. It's easy to get sad about the things that are no longer in present time. 1, we had it. 2, we still have it, just not in the old form. 3, change is inevitable. We may as well shift. And 4, we're freaking alive. And as long as we're alive, we can always manifest and create the type of energy that we want around us. But important to not be sad about it. I mean, grieve what you have to grieve, but not be too sad because it brings our energy down. So I hope that this made sense because, I kind of went off on the fly. And I want to do a really quick reading for each of the signs. So let me look at this. What does Aries need to know right now coming into this week? Okay. So in order to, I love this. In order to get what you want, the wish and the 10 of Pentacles, you've got to face with an objective way that some people have let you down and some situations don't work for you. But instead of getting too mad about it, getting, I'm going to go and like tell them about themselves, just be like, I release it, I move forward. Try to get over that, the betrayal, the loss, the fact that they didn't live up to what they said they were going to deliver, and keep moving because your wish is on the horizon and you're making money off of it, okay? All right, let's look at Taurus. Taurus. Let's look at a quick tarot reading with Taurus. A card pull, if you will. Okay, Taurus, you've been a little bit on the defensive because you've been through some pain. And the thing is this. Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, you're a little bit on the defensive. You've been through some pain separation. You've walked away disappointed, but something new is coming. So there's a theme here, right? And being on the defensive, as long as you make it protective, like cleanse your home, cleanse yourself, you're fine. The pain isn't necessarily new or fresh. It could be like something that you already knew was validated with the the super's coming, with the blue moon. And now you're like, fuck, what do I do with this? But you don't have to actually do, right? You don't have to handle the feelings of the aftermath of a true deep realization. Tend to yourself, love yourself, and then walk away. It is not wasted, the time that you've spent, and something new is starting. It's something that's really, really rooted deeply into your heart. It's a creative venture. It's a new opportunity. It's something that has filled with a lot of growth. So process the self-betrayal, the betrayal, or not really the betrayal, but the pain or the loss of what shifted, and keep moving forward. So far, Aries and Taurus got some going on there, right? Except for Aries, it was more anger, and I think with Taurus, it was more disappointed. So tell me about Gemini. Come on, it's Gemini season. Oh, Gemini's also walking away. Everybody be walking away. So, wow. And I am shuffling the cards, people. I am shuffling. So we're all going through a lot of pain and loss. So Gemini, you got to walk away. You got to walk away from the disappointment. You've also had some sort of a slap in the face, some realization. But guess what? The 10 of Pentacles are awaiting you. The abundance of your mind, abundance of your ideas. And remember at the end of the day that no matter how let down you feel by a situation that didn't work out the way you wanted, you're the magician, right? You are the magician. You are the one who's going to take this piece of truth and this piece, create something new. And so I'm seeing a trend. I think that, and it fits astrologically with all the shifts and all the changes. 2026 is radically different from any other year before. Not that 2020 wasn't, but it's really has most people wondering what the F is going on and where the F we headed. So it's really calling us forward to use and lean into indigenous practices, to lean into the supportive energies that we need in order to move through and create our own communities. Let's talk about Cancer. Child. All right, Cancer. You're also walking away from some shit. Everybody got to walk away. Take a little vacation if you can. Keep looking at the future because things are unfolding for you that you have no idea. There are some decisions that you can't make right away, so let yourself be there, deep dive, and the answer will come to you. And know that no matter what amount of upset or sadness that you had, happiness is the outcome. You will feel fulfilled. And I'm getting this a lot in your work. So if you've been unhappy, you've been laid off, or a big struggle financially or economically or career-wise, things are going to shift. Okay. And now we're going to Leo. I hope I don't miss anyone. I love it. So Leo isn't walking away from shit. Wow, I love it, I love it. Leo, you have opportunities to make money. They're right in your face. Take that opportunity. There's going to be so many choices, you're not going to know what to choose. But know that fulfillment is at hand. The thing is, you've got to be the magnetic, powerful woman, luminescent, fiery that you truly are, or man that you are. You've got to let that femme, bright, creative energy flow. Sometimes people say to me, my reading or my astrology said this. Well, but you ain't doing nothing about it. You didn't even do a cleansing. You didn't even make a decision. We've got to move forward. Leo, it's all in your hands. So you just got to move forward. Okay. So we did Aries, we did Taurus, we did Gemini, we did Cancer, we did Leo. Let's get into Virgo. So Virgo, what's going on with you? Oh, shit. Okay, we're back to the walking away. Oh, but this is really good. Okay. I love it. So you're also walking away from stuff. See, a very used card. And you're going to get messages from people looking at the past and being disappointed. I just talked to a couple of Virgos that were laid off and were struggling, and then they heard how everybody missed them at work. That's really the message that you're getting. You've got to be strong and use your mind right now, which I think for the most part you do use, and also your intuition. Because in the end of the day, you kind of knew what was unfolding, and now it's time for you to dig even deeper in your intuitive knowing. Virgo, there's a lot of changes coming for you. The thing is, you've got to take a moment to really unpack and understand how your intuition flows through you. Because I feel like your intuition is going to be carrying you in the summer into the fall. Okay, let's go to Libra. Oh, shit, I love it. I love it. Libra, the sun is shining upon you, literally. So fulfillment, success, something you've been working on, really hitting. You still got to have patience because people are going to try you. You got to be that luminous and creative being that you are because fulfillment is at hand. Maybe there's also going to be some sort of reunion. Maybe you're going to travel and connect with somebody. But Libra, things that you have been wanting are showing up for you now. And just be patient with yourself and others. And be happy because really the light of favor is truly upon you. So now let's go to Scorpio. I love that. I wish that was mine. Okay, let's go. Scorpio. Scorpio, you've been following the rules and you're a little sick of them. But when you master a rule, you master the rule. Okay, so you've been following the rules to get what you wanted. Stability for your family, for yourself, fulfillment. Maybe you bought a house, maybe you bought something. And now you're sitting there like, I don't know if I like this following of the rules and the choices that I've made, though they've given me what I wanted, are they the best for me? Well, some sort of opportunity is coming your way and you're creating something new or a new door. It could be even a promotion. Something is opening up for you, whereas you felt like, well, I've been doing what I'm supposed to be doing and I got what I wanted, and yeah, maybe this is not enough, but now something else is coming in to ignite you that is going to really, and again, it could be expansion at work, it could be something else, but there's something really exciting that's unfolding for you, and I'm excited for you. Okay. Let's go, Sagittarius. I love it, Sag. You've been managing all the things, trying to be your shiny, fiery person. I think that there's a shift coming. There's definitely an ending coming your way, and it's an ending that you've known. So I don't know if you're leaving your job, you or somebody that you love is going back to their country, or you're thinking of leaving the country, but it's something about leaving, something about ending, but you have to know that there is life after this ending, right? This is an ending. You must be strong because there is life. But it is something you've been thinking about, and then it kind of hurts you more than you thought it would. So if you've left the country or leaving the country, or somebody that you love is leaving the country or literally leaving the earth, or there's some sort, or your business or a job is being like Like you might stay in the position at your job, but they might sell the company. Like there's just some shift coming that you know about, but that you're also like, I don't know. It is going to hurt you a little more than you thought, but at the end of the day, like things will flow and be well. Okay, let's look at Capricorn. Capricorn, you received a message. Tell me that. Okay. So Capricorn, maybe you've been climbing a ladder or climbing a path or walking on a path that isn't giving you exactly what you want. You followed the rules and now you're like, oh my God, this is so disappointing. I'm getting the sense that it is about either somebody who's mentored you or somebody that you believed in or someone that you just had so much faith in. And, you know, now you're like, I saw that. I can't unsee it. I felt it. I can't unfeel it. I don't like it. And so now you're looking to the future, but I want you to know that the outcome is, again, initiation. So as you see, a lot of these outcomes are about creating new things. And we did talk about endings, right? We talked about the full moon, and before the new moon coming in, we have to release. And it's really that time. So that was Aquarius, right? Oh no, that was Capricorn. Let's go into Aquarius. Okay. Whew. Child. Aquarius may have been going through it, but the end of the pain is near. So Aquarius, I think you've been through it. You're not gonna go through it. You've been through it. You've been outside. You're even maybe losing touch with your own spirituality. But now there's an opportunity. There's been opportunities for you to connect more to your spiritual sense, to look to the future. And your intuition has really, really grown. And I wouldn't be shocked. Pluto went into Aquarius. It's going to shake you up for many, many years to come. But don't worry. Don't be squeamish. And I know you won't because you're really intelligent. The institution or the company or the path that you're on career-wise is going to withstand a lot of the economic things that have been happening. But you've been through the pain. So I don't know if you had to shift jobs. I don't know if somebody that you love betrayed you. But I want to remind you that you are also the magician and you're going to bring it through. What I'm seeing here is really, I mean, everybody's is different. Some of them like Libra and Leo got it going on. But for most of us is like getting over something that has let us down and trusting and knowing that we're shifting into something new and really putting your all into it. And like I said earlier, so many people are like, oh, the astrology is so good, but nothing good's happening. Well, your hands are full. You got to let go and be really willing to take chances in order for new things to flow into your hands. So let's look at Pisces before we close out. Come on, Pisces. Pisces, there's been a lot of fears. And now they're dissipating. I love it. Oh, I love it. Okay. There's been fears, there's been dreams, there's been things, but they've been dissipating because now you're looking towards the future and you're really excited because you've worked hard and now there's going to be an opportunity for you to increase your abundance, increase your expansion. You are done carrying people who no longer want to really be a part of your life or really only call you when they have problems. You're making a big decision or in the process of making a big decision where you get to choose you and you thrive. All right, my people, I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. I don't edit, so this will be in there. But what I will say is this. Take these readings to heart and only in a way that serves you. Don't think, oh my God, I'm going to go through pain. I'm going to go through pain. Life is challenging. There's always loss. There's always getting over things. Even the idea that sometimes we have of somebody and you're like, okay, they're human, they're fallible. I kept seeing their light. Now I saw their fallibility. Am I choosing to love them anyway? Or is it too much for me? These are all choices that come up. But know that when we say we're getting over something and there's a loss, it's not necessarily somebody's crossing over. It's not necessarily losing your job. It could be a loss of belief in someone. It could be a loss of a belief that where you are is where you were going to retire. Now you need to move. So don't worry that it's maybe not that dramatic. So sending you all so much love. Let me know if this served you. I'm so excited to be back. I can't wait to share more. Since about March, I've been traveling and I have been performing Perra Puta Loca Bruja, which is ancestral healing in a theatrical performance. And it's just changed my life. It's changed me. I am also still working because I'm not independently wealthy, people. So if you want to book a session, I will book it in a time where I could do it, where I can meet with you on Zoom. Astrology sessions for yourself or for your business. A reading, 30 minutes, is only $97, and it's a discounted rate from $150. If you need hypnosis, if you've been stuck and you think a past life regression will help you, let's get in there. Let's do it. If you want to work with me coaching for 4 months, let's do it too. I'm here. I'm excited. We're all in this growth spurt. And again, in order to grow, we have to also know what we're letting go of and take the big leap. Sending y'all so much love. Mucho amor. Gracias.